Hey, good morning. I'm having the fuzzy, there we go, having the fuzzy issue again. Hey, good morning. Happy Monday. You know, this morning I wanted to do something a little bit different than I usually do. So, um, I've been reading, recently, rereading a book called The Power of Moments. So it's by Chip and Dan Heath. And I wanted to kind of pull out some nuggets that I really got from this. It's amazing how much of our life is really it really boils down to certain really critical or powerful moments in our life, right? You know, the thing about it is you can't really remember everything. So if I asked you if you could remember everything that ever happened in your entire life, could you answer that? No, I don't think most of us could. But if I asked you, um, what if you could, can you remember everything that ever happened to you yesterday in detail? Most of us probably wouldn't remember that either, but we would probably remember the highlights or the powerful moments, right? So what if I asked you, for those of you that are old enough, do you remember where you were, who you were with, what you were doing on 9/11? I think most of us, again, most of us that were had been been born at the time probably can remember that, and that's because it was a powerful moment. How about I mean, we probably can all remember when where we were when they declared COVID an emergency, right? And I have differing opinions on that, but that's beside the point. It was a powerful moment in our life, and it was a collective moment. So, what I want to do today is I want to give you a warning that I got from this book. Great book, by the way. I would definitely recommend getting it. It's called Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath. I guess I'm giving them some free publicity here. But it's so powerful, and there's so many nuggets and so many amazing things that you can get when you really dig in. So, what I want to do is I want to give you a warning that I got from this book. But before I give you the warning, I want to really start to break it down. There's different elements and there's different pieces of usually what create or constitute a powerful moment. Some of there's in the book they go over four main ones. So some of them have all of them, some of them have just one. But to get a really deep, powerful moment, you really need at least two of these. So the first one is elevation. Basically, that just means out of the ordinary, something more, something above, right? Because you've got ordinary and then you've got extraordinary, right? There's a reason they say it that way. So elevation just takes a normal moment and takes it to the next level. So that's what elevation means. And then there's pride. Now, I got to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the word pride, but basically what it means is accomplishment or achievement, something that is significant that you've achieved in your life or someone's achieved in their life. So that could be graduations, it could be weddings, it could be really any kind of ceremony. And then there's insight. Insight is kind of my bread and butter. This is where I live. This is where I spend most of my life because I love insight. I believe that the right insight, a single powerful moment in your life can completely change the trajectory of your life altogether. We've all had those moments in our life where something changes. We have this moment of insight, we have this moment of clarity, or maybe you realize this isn't what I want to do, or maybe you realize this is who I really am, or maybe you realize this is who I really want to be with, or whatever it is. But those moments of insight are so powerful because they can trigger things that will change our life forever. and sometimes for the better, or most of the time for the better. Sometimes it looks like it's for the worse, but usually it ends up building us up and growing us in a way that we never would have been able to anticipate before. So insight is huge for me. If I can, to be honest, if I can give you one tiny little nugget, if I can plant one little seed on this video or this live, that would be totally worth it to me. Insight is huge. I thrive and I'm lit up by being able to help other people get breakthroughs. That's huge to me. So you've got insight. And then the last one is connection. So these would be shared moments. So technically, if you're on here live, this would be a shared moment. This would be something that we're doing together. This could be, again, this could also be ceremonies. It could be weddings. It could be any kind of, any kind of group event. That would be a moment of connection. So things that we share together. So you've got elevation, you've got pride or accomplishment, you've got insight, and you've got connection. So those four really make up, like I said, in the book, they go over how this really makes up what a powerful moment is in your life. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. So in order to really show you what this looks like, let's take a quick trip to Disney World. So let's say that you're going to go to Disney World and I tell you, okay, every hour I'm going to text you. And I just want you to rate your experience. That's all I want. I just want you to rate your experience on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, this is horrible, I can't wait to get out of here. And 10 being, this is amazing, I never want to leave. So every hour I'm going to text you and just say, okay, how are you feeling right now? What's your general experience at this point? Is it 1 to 10? So here's what a typical day at Disney World would look like. 9 a.m., cattle herding kids out of the house or the hotel. There's excitement in the air, rating 6. 10 a.m., riding It's a Small World together with parents and kids. Everyone's under the impression that someone must be enjoying this, right? Rating 5. 11 a.m., feeling that dopamine rush after riding Space Mountain roller coaster. Your kids are begging to ride it again. Rating 10. Noon, enjoying really expensive park food with your kids who might enjoy it a little bit less if they knew you'd bought it with their college fund. Rating 7. 1 p.m. waiting in line for 45 minutes in 96 degrees Central Florida heat, trying to keep your son from gnawing on the handrails. Rating 3. And then 2 p.m. buying mouse ear hats on the way out of the park. Your kids look so cute. Rating 8. So here's the interesting thing. Here's how our memories work when it comes to moments. So the average, if you take the average of all those ratings, the average would be a 6.5. A pretty good day overall, right? At least it's over half, right? It's over mediocre. But reality actually tells a different story. They actually did this type of test in several different scenarios. And they found that most of the time, the average rating, when they said, what is your average? It actually came out to a 9. And that's because of something called the peak end rule. So basically what that means is most of the time, the way our memories work is we remember the peaks. So we remember the top, the great moments, the really amazing things, and then we remember the end. A lot of times we'll remember a piece of the beginning, but it's mostly the beginning or the peak and the end. So it's the peak end rule. So in the case of Disney World, the peak end would be Space Mountain and the kids wearing the mouse ear hats, right? So this is how our memories work. We remember most of those things. Actually, there was some executives from Disney that were talking to their team. I got this on good authority, that were talking to their team and saying that as long as they can create one powerful moment, as long as they can create one amazing moment with every person in the park, then all of the other negative things won't matter as much, because that's the one they'll remember because of the peak end rule. So this is also why aiming for a complaint-free business or service is actually kind of a disaster waiting to happen. So most of you are probably thinking like, what? I don't want to deal with complaints. Why would complaint-free be great? Here's the thing. You have two options as as like an entrepreneur or a business owner. I know most people watching this are going to be realtors. That's who I serve. That's really my niche. So you have two options as an entrepreneur or as a business owner or as a freelancer. You have, let's say you have all of your clients on a scale of 1 to 7, 1 through 7. Okay. So let's say your 1s, your 2s, and your 3s these are the people that can't stand you. No matter what you do, they're never going to be happy. These are like your really unhappy customers, right? So let's say you could take your 1, your 2, and your 3, and you could wave a magic wand, and you could take all 3 of those and bring them up to a 4. So it takes your really unhappy customers and it moves them to kind of neutral. So they're satisfied with your service, right? By the way, pro tip here, a satisfied customer is rarely enough to actually champion your business or your service or your company. This is almost never enough to actually get people to refer you. So think about the next time or the last time that you were satisfied with a company or with a service or with a meal or whatever it is. And you were like, yeah, I mean, that was great. That was good. It was acceptable. Do you go out and tell everyone? No, not usually. But let's say you had an amazing service or you had an amazing meal or you saw a great movie or read an amazing book. You can't wait to tell anyone about it. All of your friends and your family, right? Am I right? So it's like, oh man, you got to go to this restaurant. They have the best pasta or pizza or whatever it is. You can tell I like Italian. But that's rare. That's what you want in your business. So satisfaction is rarely enough to actually get people to champion or refer your business. It's unfortunate, but it's true. All right. So let's say that you can take the 4s, the 5s, and the 6s in your lineup of customers. And these are the people that are, like I said, satisfied. They're kind of neutral. They're not annoyed, but they're not raving fans. Let's say you could take your 4s, your 5s, and your 6s, and your neutrals, and you could wave that magic wand we were talking about and move them up to a 7. So you're turning these people into raging fans. So here's the kicker. So if you could do that, would you take it? I think we all would, right? So here's the kicker. You really only have the time and the resources and the effort to do one or the other. So if you could take your magic wand and you could wave it and take your real unhappy customers and turn them into neutral, or you could take your neutral customers and turn them into raving fans, which one would it be? Here's the thing. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you should leave your customers unhappy. Do everything you can to make them happy. But here's the thing. Most entrepreneurs, and maybe you're not most, but most entrepreneurs will actually choose to spend up to 80% of their time and resources trying to make unhappy customers happy or neutral. And they waste so many resources that can be used on taking their neutral customers, their satisfied customers, up to a raging fan. They actually did a study on this as well. And the people that consistently focused most of their energy on trying to turn their neutral people into raging fans had the potential to make up to 9 times more money. Not 9%, not 90%, 9 times more money. Because that's where the money is, that's where the satisfaction is, that's where the fulfillment is. Because here's the thing, like if you have a client that really doesn't like you, I don't know, maybe they just don't like the cut of your jib or whatever. It's really difficult to get them really to be a raging fan. I mean, it's almost impossible to take that person to a raging fan. So why don't you spend more of your effort turning your neutral customers into raving fans than our unhappy customers into neutral customers? I'll give you an example of how this works in practice. So there's a place in California called the Magic Castle Hotel. And as you can probably guess, they cater mostly to people going to Disneyland. Can you sense kind of a theme today? Um, but this place is crazy because it's when I say when I say a hotel, it's more like a dingy converted apartment complex. It's clean, but it's no Ritz Carlton. But here's the thing: they actually have reviews that rival the Ritz Carlton. They're like neck and neck, and so are their prices. And here's the reason: the Magic Castle Hotel knows the power of creating powerful moments. So it starts when you drive up, they run up to your car, they open your door and they greet you by name. Good morning, Mr. Hammond. Can I help you with your luggage? How they know your name? I have no idea. But then you get up to your hotel room and there's a snack menu with every snack you can possibly imagine, and they're all free. You can get whatever you want. And if that's not enough, they have a free laundry service, which is most or is more than most hotels have anyway, right? But they managed to take this to a whole new level as well. They will take your laundry, they will do it for you, they will fold it up, wrap it in parchment paper, tie it up, put a sprig of lavender on it, and deliver it back to your room for you, which is more ceremony than you got with your first kid. Am I right? But the best part about the Magic Castle Hotel is the cherry red phone down by the pool. So when you pick up this phone, you hear popsicle hotline. What kind of popsicle can I get for you? And say, I don't know, grape or orange or whatever. And around the corner comes a staff member with a suit, leather gloves, and a silver platter and delivers your popsicle to you poolside. Now, that is the power of a moment. Is that going to be a defining moment in your entire life? Probably not. But in the context of a vacation, absolutely. You're going to be telling everyone about this. This is amazing. So here's the warning that I told you about early. Beware the soul-sucking force of reasonableness. Let's say that the Magic Castle Hotel is under new management. And they go, you know what? Popsicles by the pool, love it. But it's not really reasonable to fully staff someone to deliver popsicles. I mean, that's crazy, right? Let's get a industrial sized freezer, throw it out by the pool, stock it with popsicles, and people can get popsicles to their heart's content. That's all well and good, but it destroys the power of the moment. So this is where I want to ask you, how are you creating powerful moments in your life or your business? There are opportunities everywhere. Now, these don't have to be crazy or expensive. They just need to be memorable. So I actually know a realtor that will, when she does her initial call with her clients, can you afford to buy the house? Where are you looking? What schools you're looking for? Or have you been pre-approved? Whatever it is. But during the process of the questioning, she throws some fun ones in there. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite non-alcoholic beverage? And they get a kick out of it. But when they go and they look at their first house, they go with the realtor to see their first house. She goes around to the back of her car, opens the hatch, and there's a little cooler in there, and she pulls out their favorite beverage. Now, do you think that was expensive for her? Do you think it cost her a lot of time and effort to get that? Probably not. But they are going to remember her forever because of that one powerful moment that she actually created. So that's the thing about powerful moments. You don't have to wait for them to happen. You can create, you can manufacture them in your life and your business. I also know another realtor that at the closing table, she has this little wooden gavel, and at the closing table, right after her client signs the last piece of paperwork, she goes, "Sold," like that. And everyone jumps and everyone laughs, and it's silly, but it leaves an impression. There's other things you can do. You could have a home shopper survival kit. You could have a 1-year anniversary photo. There's actually services that make it to where you can take that picture and then have it in a system that will automatically send it to them a year later. You could, I think it was Send Out Cards does something similar to that. So what is the last thing at the end of a transaction, whether it's buying a house, buying a car, what is the very last thing after all the paperwork is done? It's the presentation of the keys, right? Here's your keys. You bought your house, you bought your car, here's your keys. Well, I actually have a friend that bought a used Toyota, and he said he saw the best version of this presentation of the keys he's ever seen in his life. So he signs all the paperwork, gets everything done. Again, it's a used Toyota. And around the corner comes the salesman. And he's got a velvet jewelry box. And he's thinking, like, what is going on? Like, am I getting proposed to? What is this? And the guy opens the jewelry box, and 2 lights shine down on the keys to his used Toyota. That is the power of a moment. So I want to encourage you today and this week and this coming year to take advantage of moments and to realize that moments don't have to just happen to us. They can be created. They can be manufactured. At one point I went backpacking with my son. We hiked a couple miles back with our trail life troop, and right there in the rain and it was wet and everything, but he was able to light a fire with just a ferro rod, just a flint. And he was so happy and he was so thrilled. But that was a moment that had to be created. We had to plan the trip. We had to plan everything. We had to get everything that we needed. And it was a powerful moment, but it had to be planned. So start thinking about ways that you can plan and create powerful moments in your life instead of just letting it happen to you, right? Because it's like Tony Robbins says, right? What if life happens for us, not to us? Thank you guys for being here. Keep growing, empowering those around you, one mind at a time. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, happy Monday.